Cleverley Mere has been a premier Essex syndicate water for as long as I can remember, really, and it's had big fish in it for a very, very long time, and it's sort of always been on my list to have a go, and this year I finally did. And it's been something that I've kind of fallen in love with, but it's been a bit different to what I've been doing for the last few years. I used to fish a lot of really busy, clicky circuit waters back in Oxford, you know, where you're up against anglers as much as the fish, and then I hadn't done that for a few years, and this is very much that style of angling. You've got to be on your game. There's a lot of very good anglers on the lake. It's not even a particularly big lake, so you know you're up against it, and the fish have pretty much seen it all. They've been under a huge amount of pressure over the years, and they don't generally give themselves up very easily. If you caught 10 in a year, you've had a good year. But with a bit of good angling, they're catchable. And you know, a lot of good anglers have come here. People that I know, like Dave Levy, that have done well through the years. So there's a couple of really big notable fish in here. You've got Chester, which is a big common, which has been at 45. And you've got Hendricks, the big mirror, which has been up to 44 or 45 as well. The backup stock is generally sort of 35 to 38 or 39 pound. A lot of commons and some stupendous looking fish. I've been trying to do a couple of nights a week, trying to get something together, get a feel for the place, and it's been quite kind to me. The fish behave pretty much like carp. They do show. They love showing at night, and they like floaters. They like coming into the edge and feeding on careful little margin traps, and they like boilies. So the plan was to come down, and pre-baiting is very, very difficult. I mean, on a lake like this, you know, that you hear people come down and pre-bait a swim, you know, in the dead of night, maybe 10, 11 o'clock at night, not the dead of night, you know, after dark. You'll hear one of the gates go, and you'll hear a car pull in, and then you hear do-do-do-do, where someone's catapulting out bait, and then he'll go, and then an hour later someone else will turn up in the same swim and do exactly the same thing. So it is possible to pre-bait and get little spots going, but you need to give it a bit of thought, you know, where you do it and how you do it. So I've been applying the krill. You know, we're fortunate at Sticky, we've got some incredible baits, but I have to say I am a krill man. Once the water temperature's up, I mean, it's the back end of summer now, it's getting towards the end of August. I think it's September in a couple of days. But it's krill time, and I know that the big fish in here would eat it, you know. I've just got such confidence in it. So the plan was to fish a little bit differently. Again, you get people fishing very, very similarly on a lot of circuit waters. So there's a lot of stiff hinges, bright hook baits, and because it's a busy lake, you get a lot of overnight fishing. So you get people just putting in 10 baits around a rig, and then they're off to work in the morning. You've got to respect that as hardcore angling. So I tried to sort of fish a little bit differently, been applying the krill in some spots where I can bait up silently without the noise of a catapult or a spom. So wading in, using a bait spoon and things like that. And I've been using 20 millers, 20 mil, whole 20 mil baits, which is, again, is something a little bit different. And I've been fishing a whole 20 mil bait on the hair. So again, a bit different. And I found that, you know, stiff rigs and big leads has led to the downfall of a few. Stalked a few, which has been brilliant. Had the marlin, which is one of the notable commons, at 37 pounds, stalked him out of the edge. That was a really momentous bit of stalking for me. You know, I sort of had these big fish came in, and this common was the biggest one of the bunch, dropped on the spot, and all the times you're stalking and you catch the smallest one, well, luckily this time the marlin picked up the bait, and he hadn't been caught for probably getting on for 5 months this year, so one of the rarer ones. And I had on one of my early trips on a little pre-baited spot, I had a big dark common. I've been keeping a little bit under the radar here because it's so busy, so I don't know which common this is, but it was a lovely big dark broad-shouldered common, big underslung mouth. He was 38.6. Beautiful fish, unmarked, dark, just incredible. So that, yes, things started rolling along quite nicely. Had one of the other big commons at 37.10 on a floater, little trimmed down krill pop up, and a load of floaters soaked in cap oil, which has caught me a couple of bonus fish this summer. and a couple of the big mirrors. I had one last week actually, £34. Again, they're slightly down from spawning, but it doesn't really bother me. They're in good condition. He was a beautiful fish, and loads of high 20s, and they're just stunning fish. They're slightly more commons than mirrors, so when you get a mirror, you know, it's really special to see, and some of the mirrors in here are just to die for. The commons are as well. I mean, it's a special lake, and by steady application of the creel, fishing accurately to small, discreet little spots, a little bit of pre-baiting here and there with the creel has helped me sort of get to grips with the place fairly quickly. And I've had 28 fish now in 22, 23 nights. So I think that's a fair result. And I'm looking to plug away a little bit more through the autumn. I'm going to keep some of the krill going in. There's a big mirror in here called Hendrix, which I would really like to meet. Still a couple of the others in the A team that I would love to catch as well. So I'm going to try and notch up a couple more nights, and in the meantime, the krill has certainly been working for me down here, and I'm loving my fishing down at Cleverley.